Well, earlier we were joined from our London studio by Kate Andrews from the Adam Smith Institute, a public policy think tank which opposes today's strike action.
And also here in the studio by Dr Lucy Cocker, junior doctor in Wakefield, who's also a BMA representative. I put it to her that patients are piggy in the middle of an argument that's got nothing to do with them.
It's really unfortunate that the public and our patients are stuck in between doctors and the government, and it's the last place we want them to be. Our job is to look after our patients, and we're just so glad that they are so supportive of us, and just ask if they can, just keep up that support as we're trying to do what is best for them in the long run.
It is a contentious issue. Kate Andrews is in London. You're actually very much opposed to strike action. Why?
Well, when you have a monopoly on healthcare, like here in the UK where you have the NHS, then I believe you are ethically responsible for the outcome of those patients and for their well-being. They can't turn anywhere else. Brits today can't go to a private facility. They can't go to another competitor. They have to use the NHS, and those facilities are being jeopardized today. Please don't get me wrong. I, like many other people, really do support the junior doctors, and I think they probably deserve more pay. But the British Medical Association is the real culprit here. They have been able to get what they've wanted from the government on 15 out of their 16 points of contention. They are striking over one topic today, and that is pay over the weekends.
And that's the point, isn't it, Dr Cocker, that patient safety is at risk?
Yes, and I think there's a couple of points raised by Kate there that really aren't quite true. There are not just one issue that's still in contention between the BMA and the government. Mr Hunt himself has said 15 out of 16 have been agreed, or 14 out of 16, and actually they've said they've come to some sort of vocal agreement in discussions, but actually when the offer was put to the BMA on the Monday, it was not as had been in talks, and things weren't as we'd hoped them to be for the BMA, and there's still quite a lot that's not agreed.
But doesn't this new contract actually mean that doctors' hours are going to be reduced? They're actually lowering the extent to which doctors will be working from 91 to 72 a week. What is the complaint?
So it does, and those things are absolutely great, if there is some strong way of making sure that those guidelines are actually abided by. And that's what we as doctors and the BMA have a bit of an issue with. There doesn't seem to be any strong, reliable safeguard for ensuring that these guidelines are being followed.
One of the tricky issues here is that some people are saying this is not really about patient safety. It's that doctors are miffed because their overtime payments for working weekends are going to be cut back drastically. And that's really what the issue is about. And that will lose public sympathy.
Yes, and it would lose public sympathy if it was this all about pay, but it really isn't. The reason that a lot of my friends are out on strike today, the reason that I was supporting other doctors on the pickets today, is because I am seriously worried about patient safety and about my safety and my colleagues' safety as doctors. If we are overworked and tired, we can make mistakes and not only can harm patients, we can be harming ourselves physically and mentally. We're not going to be tough enough to cope with those hours and the stressful circumstances that we have spent months writing letters to MPs. We have had protests of over 20,000 doctors attending, which have all been trying to raise awareness and whistleblow, as we are being encouraged to do in every profession, to raise these concerns, and nothing has been done about them, and this has carried on. And I think we would actually be going against our duty to our patients and abusing that trust between doctors and patients in that relationship if we went, oh, we've tried, things haven't worked, we'll just leave it at that. And we'd be saying we actually didn't have courage and the conviction in our own cause, which we do. This is something we feel so strongly about, that we are willing to go to strikes, as much as we hate to do that and as much as it is such a last resort. Unfortunately, we feel so strongly about this issue that we are having to follow it through.
OK, would you like to respond to that?
Yes, absolutely. I think what's important for the public to remember is that the BMA is not a neutral medical association. It is a pressure group. It is a union designed for doctors, and their goal is to negotiate the best deal that they can for their members, i.e. the junior doctors. The problem is at the moment the BMA is not negotiating. They are making demands, and they are holding the public to ransom because they know that they are the only people who can provide that health care. They have gotten 15 out of the 16 contentions that they wanted, and I think I would encourage them to continue to sit at that negotiating table and try to go for that 16th one. But that's not what they've chosen to do. And they've decided to tackle things like overworked doctors and tired doctors and these issues that, as we already discussed, are already covered under the law. I think that the fundamental problem here is that they're pushing and they're not negotiating, and they've decided to up and strike, and the primary person that gets hurt by that is not Jeremy Hunt, it's not the government, and hey, they might be wrong on some issues too, and the BMA should continue to push them, but the person who's getting hurt in this whole process is the patient.
OK, we have to leave it there. Kate Andrews in London and Dr Lucy Cocker here in the studio. Thank you both very much indeed.
Thank you.